Hello my family. So we are now, after baking all of our cookies, we are now going to prepare our supper tonight. We are going to be having a low carb and a regular, and I'm going to take this recipe and divide it by both so that me and my husband can have the same meal together, but accommodating both of us. One Mediterranean, not diabetic, the other low carb diabetic. I'm going to show you how to do that with an oven baked chicken that will have some ham and sun-dried tomatoes and mozzarella. We'll be baking that. We'll be serving that with sautéed green beans with onions and garlic, and then we will be having a side salad, and that is going to be an Italian supper for tonight. I'm going to show you also how to debone a chicken thigh, and we will go from there. I am going to get us set up in the kitchen. Let's go and let's make some supper. Okay, y'all, so when it comes to a chicken thigh, this is really not hard to debone. The recipe calls for deboned thighs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that bone, and I'm just going to cut down that front facing of that bone, peeling back the meat on this. And I want to scrape it off of the bone as I go along. So I'm going to just keep following this on all sides. It's just, these have one bone that's going down it. You just want to trace it down until it's completely removed. So just exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just going to scrape that meat off of this bone as I'm running it down. I get toward that end. I'm wanting to pull away at the knuckle part as much as I possibly can until I can get it removed as well. Saving the meat as much as possible. We don't want to lose a whole lot of our meat. I'm going to come back on this side, scrape it down just like so. As you can see, I'm actually getting that bone right off of there. So you're just following that bone line and scraping it off. And then we get down here, we'll just follow that as well, scraping it off from the knuckle area and the cartilage, going around it, cutting it off. And I use a pair of scissors, some kitchen scissors, and I'll just go around that knuckle area as close as I can without losing all that meat. And that's it. And now I have the bone removed, and I have a nice boneless chicken thigh. So with that, we will be back and I will show you what to do with the rest of these ingredients. Okay, y'all, I'm going to take a quick discussion about the low carb biscotti. These that taste really good. However, what would I change in this? Number one, I'm finding even in my other recipe that the lemon orange is a very mild flavor. If you wanted to accent more of that flavor of the lemon and the orange, I would seriously probably up that flavor using extract to about at least a teaspoon each, along with the zest. That would be the one thing I would change. And I could see this, the texture is different, but it's really good. It's not super crunchy, yet it is firm. As you can see, it is firm. So it makes a good cookie. I could see almond and biscotti or almond biscotti with anise very well. So would I do this again? Yes. I am going to work with the flavoring because texture wise and structure wise, it's a really good base now just to work on the flavoring. So let's get back to our dinner. Okay, y'all, so we have to flatten each chicken thigh, and I am going to be using Saran wrap for this. So I'm going to lay each one over, take my Saran wrap over the top of this, and using a meat mallet, I am actually going to pound this down just like so, that I can make it rather thin. And then once I get all these done, I will come back and show you what we're fixing to do next. Alright, y'all, so now what we're going to do is take each piece of chicken that we now flattened, and we're going to fill them with our filling mix or stuffing mix that we're going to do. So each one is going to consist of adding go through our recipe here. This recipe, by the way, is from recipe 30. He has some amazing dishes, and I absolutely love his food, especially on the Mediterranean side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pieces of, let me go ahead and get my tongs here. We're going to get 2 pieces of tomato, sun-dried tomato. Now this is an olive oil. Now this is a big piece, so 1 piece can be broken down into 2 pieces, just like so. Place that on our chicken. Then I am going to take a piece of, now I don't have smoked ham, but I do have Black Forest ham, and I'm going to absolutely use that. So, daggum summer. I cannot wait, y'all, for fall. So now I'm going to take a piece of ham, and now I'm going to also take 2 pieces of mozzarella cheese, and I am going to put that, these are the fresh mozzarella, by the way, the fresh round cuts, and I'm going to place that on top of each chicken. And now at this point, I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll this up just like so, and I am going to form this around, roll it all the way through, and if I have to, I'll probably break this up. Now I'm going to wrap this in Saran wrap, and I will be right back as I get that ready for you. Okay, y'all, I had to correct a mistake. So in a bowl here, I have 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, about a half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper, and about a half a teaspoon of salt. Go based by your preference and flavor. I want to take each one of these and sprinkle my seasonings over the top with skin side down. Then I want to fill in my rest of my ingredients. So now this is when I want to add my tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and add my ham on top. I'm going to spread it completely across my chicken. Then I'm going to take my broken up pieces. I found that this is easier to do this with, and line it across my chicken with my mozzarella like so. Get that one up there, and then I am going to roll up my chicken in with my Saran wrap nice and tight. Roll it all the way through, making sure that I hold it enough where I can keep my ingredients on the inside, including the ham, when it likes to slide out. So now that I've got this, I want to take it, and I'm going to take it nice and tightly, roll it with the Saran wrap just like so. I want the ends of it just as tight like this, like a Tootsie Roll. And then I am going to refrigerate these for a few minutes, get it to hold its shape so that we can cook it on the next step. So I'm going to tighten these ends just like so. And then I am going to refrigerate this. Now this, the recipe called for 3. I actually have 4. So if you can, it doesn't matter. It's just the same, even if you add 1 extra to it. So now I'm going to take and finish off the rest of these and put this in the refrigerator for it to stay firm so that I could coat it and bread it next. Okay, y'all, so now we have our little chicken bundles. I am going to put this in the refrigerator as I just got text hubby is on his way home. So these are usually sit for about 30 minutes. I'm probably going to put these in the freezer for just a little bit, firm them up enough to where I can bread them. I'm going to bake them in my big old pan here before it goes in the oven, which is set at 350 degrees. In the meantime, I'm going to saute our green beans. Okay, y'all, so now while I am waiting on my chicken, I am going to saute my market style green beans. I get them where they're the smaller ones like this. They're easier and they're actually better to use as a side. If they're super long, I cut them in half, but I like to tend to leave them long as well. So I'm going to be sauteing these honestly in olive oil. I am lowering my heat because I actually, before putting the olive oil in here, I had tallow, homemade tallow. So as soon as I bring this down, that's the reason why it was smoking, because I had tallow in it. So as soon as I bring this heat down some, I'm going to come back and we're going to saute our green beans. with some onion and garlic and sprinkle it with some salt. Super simple side and amazing flavor. So we will be right back with that one. Okay, so now that we brought it down, I'm going to add our onions and then our garlic, and we're just going to saute this enough to release the flavoring in it. Just like so. I'm trying to get the rest of these onions over here. You don't have to dice these. You can do these however you want, diced, minced, sliced, any way you want to do your onions. You can use any kind you want. I just happen to have a white sweet onion that was left over, so I'm using it, and it was basically the size of a small onion. Now some of my green beans, I'm just going to go ahead and start adding these. Some of them are a little bit too big, so I'm cutting them down in half. Otherwise, I try to keep them long, like I said. So this is just a really simple side dish that is actually amazing. Now we do not cook these completely. We like to have somewhat of a crisp. We're just getting them to the coloring get slightly dark, and then we just turn it off. That's it. They won't be like mushy canned or anything like that. So we like a good snap to our beans, and we don't lose all our vitamins and nutrients. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these that are long like this and snap. And so far I'm finding them all pretty long. So I'm just going to break them all in half like this, and I will be back. Okay, y'all, so now I've got everything mixed together. I'm just going to blend this up and just saute it. I've got this on a simmering low setting. As you can see, the coloring's starting to change here so slightly. So we just saute them, mixing up the onions with the green beans. And I'm going to now sprinkle this with a little bit of salt and pepper. Salt. Now I'm going to get my pepper. Just like so. Mix this together. And I will probably add just a little bit more garlic to this. And that's it. This is all I do. So I will bring you back as soon as these are done. Then we'll set these aside. They can be reheated in a bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and getting on my chicken so I can get it into the oven. Okay, y'all. Green beans are now finished. Just like I said, it was just a light saute. They still have a crisp and not completely cooked down to where they are mush. So this is just the way we like it. We just get them to where they turn a dark green. Then I will take this off the heat, set it aside, and I will go ahead and start our chicken next. And that's what we'll be using in this pan, because this will be going in the oven. So I will show you how I'm going to do that chicken two ways. One for low carb, one for someone who is not diabetic and not low carb. We will be right back. Okay, so the first two are going to be for non-low carb, non-diabetic. Now, this is the only difference on this whole entire recipe, that it becomes a different thing. So this gets put into first regular flour, and I will coat this chicken on all sides all the way around. I'm going to make sure that I get this nice and coated. Trying to keep it together as much as possible, y'all. Then I'm going to take it into the egg wash, and I am going to soak it down with egg, just like so. And then I'm going to go and take it into the Italian breadcrumbs for these. Now this is the non-low carb and non-diabetic. So this one is not good, but both will be in the same pan. I will be accommodating the diabetic one just a moment, because we are doing 2 each. That's the reason why I did 4 chicken. And then all I do now is put it in my hot pan, with olive oil, because I'm going to saute these actually, and I'm going to cook them on all sides till they're golden brown, and then we're going to bake these in a 350-degree oven. So I've got one more to do. Same method as the other one. I'm going to roll this in the flour just like so, trying to keep it together as much as possible, because I did not give this 30 minutes to hold in the refrigerator like I should have, but I was making biscotti too, so I kind of ran out of time. And now I roll it into my egg wash just like so on all sides, making sure it's good and coated. And then I put it in my breadcrumbs, coat it real good, pat it, make sure that it's coated, and then I stick it in my frying pan to be heated up on both sides and cooked. Now we do keep the skins on this, so I'll just go ahead and keep rolling this until I get it good and coated, just like so. And then I'm going to put it in my frying pan. Now I'm going to clean this one up and get it ready for part 2. I'm doing this for low carbers. Okay, so for my husband's, what I'm doing, I washed all these containers so I do not cross the foods and cause a insulin spike. So instead of flour and all-purpose flour, I am going to be using Victoria's Keto Perfected flour in that place. And instead of dried breadcrumbs, I am actually going to be using a seasoned. I'm going to be adding some garlic and some oregano and some thyme into this mix, and this would be the basic low carb breading that I use. So that consists of almond flour, crushed or grated up pork skins, and Parmesan cheese. Just a simple basic bread coating that is low carb, easy to do, and pretty simple to use as a breadcrumb. Very versatile in a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and get his chicken out and get this started, and they will be cooked in the same pan. Alright, same process as I did with the regular. I'm going to roll this into the flour. Then I'm going to roll this into the egg mixture, and then into the keto breading mixture. Coat this up really well. Stick this in my frying pan. Fry it up a little bit till it's golden, and then we're going to pop this in a 350-degree oven until this chicken reads 165 degrees. I'll just pop that right here. And I'm trying to keep the two edges, I know, keeping in mental mind where his and mine are. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're now going to set this in the oven, and then we're going to bake this until our chicken is set at 165 degrees all the way through it. Just like that. And until then, we shall be back, and we will complete this video.
What?
Okay, y'all, so this came out of the oven, and we have our chicken. My daughter-in-law over here is right beside me, and she's cooking dinner for her family as well, so I apologize for all the extra noise. So I have, the chicken came out, we have our temps. It's slightly over 165 degrees all the way through. I will dish this up, and I will show you what our meal would look like for supper tonight, and I believe that you all would enjoy this. I will be putting all the recipes in the description box below, and this way you can enjoy this meal as well. So we will be back to plate our dish up, and then that will include the rest of this video. Alright, y'all, it is double hot. Meet my daughter-in-law. This is Colleen. We have the oven going, which I'm about to turn that off, the stove. Two different meals from two different families. I wanted to get on here and let you know the biscottis for the low carb actually passed my husband's taste test. Now, it's very hard with him to pass the taste test, so if it passes, you all know this is a really good recipe. And even he said the same thing I did. Dipping this in chocolate, a white chocolate or a dark chocolate, one that is made for a diabetic, would be amazing on these biscottis. So enjoy them. I made the video for that, and you will have the recipe. All of these today, y'all, and they were broke down in 3 different videos. I apologize, but it's the only way that I can actually get these out to you, and it's content that way it won't confuse you in its own segments. So now I will set this aside and get this ready to serve our dinner, show you the presentation of the after, and we will end this video at that. So we will be back. Alright, y'all, we are having a side salad, and that will be done with a spring mix, and I'm using the Mediterranean dressing that would be used with the pomegranate molasses. So I'll be using that. I am going to take our plates and I am going to dress it with homemade marinara that I had made straight from our tomatoes in the garden. This was the ones that I'd made a video on how to make it. Dress my plate on the bottom of it. I'm going to take one of my chickens. This one would be the low carb. It actually kind of came apart in the oven, so now I'm going to lay this on top of my marinara, just like so. Sprinkle it with parsley. We're going to serve it with some side green beans over here, like so. And this would be our supper tonight. So I will bring it down so you get a better view of this, and we will end this video. And that will be our meal, y'all. This would be our chicken with the mozzarella and ham, and then we have our sauteed green beans, fresh green beans. So we will end this video. I want to say thank you all. Much love to each and every one of you. Recipe will be in the description box below. Until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.